Alright, it's the next day. Time to continue the mess. Spark plugs are replaced, which is glad I did. Should actually did those sooner. Now we're gonna tackle the oil cooler. But first, let's have a look what I got from Princess Auto last night. Wanted some clean measuring cups for inside the garage. And after yesterday's video where I struggled with that push pin, actually they had push pin pliers in there, and I picked up another trim clip pliers. So hopefully these will work out better. And of course, the reason why I went to Princess Auto was to get some throttle body clean. And while I was there, I picked up 2 of each, sensor clean, throttle body clean. I guess it's time to let the sadness begin. First thing I'm going to do is drop that skid pan and drain some coolant, because I'm going to have to do it anyways, and then get it off the ramps, make it a little less higher and easier to work off of instead of standing on ramps and blocks and stuff. Make things go a little quicker. So on the Trailhawk, in order to drain some coolant, we got to remove this belly pan, and it is not light by any means. Got 2 more bolts left. Had to switch over to the air impact because the Milwaukee Electric's a poor excuse for a tool. There we are. This thing's heavy. Just lowering this down. And there is your radiator drain right there into the depths. A little while ago I bought this specialty tool, and today I'm going to try it out again. See if I can do this one-handed. I really just need to crack it open, and then I could do it with my hand. There we go. Be a little bit of a slow process, but we'll get there. Drained probably about 4 liters of coolant out. And I just replaced this coolant last year, so I'm going to put it back in. This little tool worked great. Do you need it? No, but honestly, I hate the struggle. And if I can have a tool that stops the struggle, I will buy it. There we are, off the jack stands. This will make life easier. Let's get this lower intake off. First thing we're going to do is remove the fuel lines. You see you got this blue clip right here. You want to lift that up, and then you want to push the white button underneath to release it. You should bleed off the system first. This has been sitting for 3 days, so I'm hoping there's not any pressure. But we're going to find out. See if I can do this. I'm going to carefully lift up on the tabs on this blue clip. I'm going to push it in. Push that white tab in on the bottom. And there we go. It came off. Perfect. Okay, you want to be very careful not to bust that clip. Lift the blue part up, and then the bottom push it in with your fingers, and it'll be good to go. I need to remove the 6 fuel injection power wires. And once again, WD-40 all the connections, makes it easier for them to come off. Gives them a little bit of extra lube. So we need to pull these locks up, and sometimes I find it better if I just use like a little hook just to pull them up. And then once all those locks are pulled up, I'm going to use my special little tool here, which makes pulling electrical connections a lot easier. It's really important that you get this electrical tab up before you remove this bottom one. Opportunity. If I would turn the air on, this is a good opportunity to blow any loose debris out from the intake manifold before you pull it off. Now with this last hurdle out of the way, I can carefully pull this harness back, and then everything, oh, it looks like there's one more right here I need to pull off as well, and then everything will be good. So these bolts are all 8mm. Spin them out. So now we should be able to lift it out, except I forgot one bolt at the front. That's why you don't pull it hard. Because then we would have broke that off and things wouldn't have ended well. So let's carefully lift this up now and out of the way. And lastly, what you want to do, definitely plug all intake holes. Before I even think about removing the oil cooler, I'm going to clean these galleries, and then we're going to tape them off because there is a bunch of dirt and stuff below there, and I don't want to risk anything when I pull it out. So we're going to clean this up and then tape off the intake holes, so we don't want to cause ourselves any further issues. Painter's tape you can stick on, and it's not going to leave a residue behind. That being said, you still need to clean it off afterwards. And this will make sure that we don't get any crap in there, because I can see down in that gallery that there's a bunch of garbage. So I need to disconnect the electrical, but I need to swap these sensors over to the new one. And they don't want to come off. Oh man, those are gonna be stuck in there good. If you got big sausage fingers, it's kind of awkward, but I just pulled that off. I get that sensor out. This is a 19mm. Holy crap. That's why you need a socket. Get that one out. Now this is where you need the special tools. This is called the gatekeeper, where they want to screw you over at the last moment. You're gonna need E-Torx to get those bolts loose. This is a set I got from Princess Auto a long time ago, and the size that you're gonna need is an E8. It's basically a inverted Torx. Being the tricky one, which is right at the front by the oil filter housing. Now, comes up pretty easy. Get this out of there as such. There you have it. The oil cooler is out. I used a midi vac to suck out as much oil as I could from the gallery. Now I can get the new one prepped. Here's a good look at the factory oil cooler. Kind of a poor design, being plastic, you know, trying to save weight, maybe costs. Not even recyclable, so at the end of the day, you're just creating more of an environmental disaster. This is the new aluminum oil filter housing. Got the old sensors prepped. The tricky part is going to be getting the oil cooler housing in. Get in and snugged up. Lubricate the hole where the one's going to go in, and all the rest stay dry, but you need to lubricate this one up, because if you roll this O-ring, this is like the gatekeeper right here. And I'm also going to put a little slight lube on the coolant line so I can slide it around a little bit. Those O-rings will compress down when you're tightening them. Alright, this is the gatekeeper right here. Let's get that coolant line on. Let's get that off. Double check all my O-rings are still in out there. Sliding this up. And then there. Looks like we're in. I want to get those in place. So if you would have rolled the O-ring, you can look down there and you would see it. So now I can go ahead, connect the electrical. And then that's one section's done. Coolant line's on. So this came a little rough, and I need to deal with this. Just want to do a quick lapping, because at the end of the day, these will squish down pretty good. Let's get those into the housing, just as such. Then I'm going to set the housing down. It's got some line-up pins. This wire for fat fingers, I highly recommend using a magnet. Now I'm going to use this throttle body clean that I picked up from Princess Auto just to spray down where the intake gaskets are. You do not want to use brake cleaner or anything like those sorts, because brake cleaner and plastic aren't usually friends, so you could end yourself up in the worst headache. So I'm using throttle body clean. Just kind of spray it down. Everything is clean. I'm gonna go ahead and install all new fresh gaskets. All right. Deal with the coolant. There we are, new gaskets are in place. Now I can get this prepped. Pull all my tape off. And of course, don't forget to pull all your paper towel out. Alright, carefully drop this down into place as such. That being done, we can plug in our fuel line. There we go. She's locked in place. We start running our electrical back over and plug in all that back in. We're going to start by putting these back in their respective holes. Plug the coils, fuel injectors, push in the locks. Mark these down. And everything just falls apart. I didn't even have my torque wrench set up. Not good. Plus, everything fell down below, which makes it even worse. Right now, I'm just shining down in each hole to make sure that there is no pinched intake gasket. Odds are extremely rare, but you never know. Before we prep for installation, I'm going to put our new gaskets in. Lower intakes installed. We're getting closer to the end. Get this project finished and start it up and see if there's any sadness. Let's grab our intake. Get this out of the way. Bring everything down as such. Last thing we need to do is to get this air box in. This is it. It's going to be the moment of truth to start it up. It's either going to go good or there's going to be extreme sadness. Extreme sadness would not be good, but that's always a possibility when you're working on these big tasks. Even though you're super cautious, go over everything, you could have screwed up somewhere. New spark plugs, new oil cooler, should run 1,000,000 times better. Also clean the throttle body. Let's connect the battery and let the smoke out of the wires. I can remove my rag. Push the connection back down. That's tight now. Before it was kind of loose. Garage door's open. I need to bring it up to a heat cycle to know for sure if there's going to be any issues. Well, let's see if it's going to start. So far, she's running good, running smooth. I was a little bit nervous at first. So far, we're running. Doesn't look like any leaks so far yet. Just finished a heat cycle. Everything's looking good. Need to take it out for a spin for sure and see. Then after that, I'll call it good after taking it out for a rip. But so far, I'm pretty happy. Time to go for a test drive. That was a big job, but I'm glad it's done. Clean up my mess, get ready. Gonna go to Boiling Ore tonight for a couple pints or more after this job. I think I deserve it. Didn't take long for the bench to become a disaster again. Alright, before I end this video, just checked her over. We did a heat cycle, which you're supposed to, and there's no oil or coolant leaking down there. Check the dipstick, no mixing of oil and coolant. Looks like another job well done. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys later.